So let's start with the first one, which is to heal from burnout with tools for resilience. All right. So for me, I have to ask myself first, I know what burnout is and experience touches of it on a regular basis. I'm comfortable with that term. But then resilience, what exactly do I mean by that? Now, there's the textbook definition, which is to be adaptable and not bowled over by unexpected change or difficulty. But I want to get even more specific than that. For me, resilience is about having power in that space between stimulus and my response. Right? Because if I have power in that space, well, then I can frame things that are happening in a very positive light. I can take a breath and slowly, thoughtfully respond rather than habitually and perhaps self-destructively react. So for me, resilience is about identifying that space and expanding it, that space between stimulus and response. One of the ways that I like to think about that is something that I call the volume teaching. And as well as being a mindfulness teacher, I'm also a retired massage therapist. I did massage therapy and yoga therapy for 17 years professionally. And one of the things that I noticed working with all these people and their bodies and their nervous systems and their minds and their feelings is that if you can think of the human being as a stereo, everybody that I was meeting, their volume was up way too high. A lot of the Wall Street guys, I'm from New York City, a lot of the Wall Street men and women that I worked on, back in my massage days, they were coming in week after week after week at a 10 out of 10 on the volume scale. And so you can imagine what that does to the stereo, right? Stereos are not designed to be blasted 10 out of 10 all day and all night. The quality of the sound is poor. Details, sometimes important ones, are lost. Eventually, the speakers and other components start to degrade and even blow out and fail. And this is us. This is our situation, a combination of our society, of our economy, even sometimes the English language itself, right, as the system of thinking that we use. All of these things are pushing us these days as a collective in a direction of raise the volume, do more, try harder. And this is very destructive. So just being aware of that is a great place to start, because when we go throughout the day, and so the practice is throughout the day to just set little reminders on your phone or have little post-it notes around that say lower the volume or check the volume. And throughout the day, let's say you set an alarm for once an hour, that alarm's going to go off and it's going to say check the volume, and you're going to have a moment just like we did at the beginning tonight of just listening to the body, de-emphasizing how much we're listening to the thinking mind, the planning mind, the worrying mind, the regretting mind, and just listening to the wordless sensations of the body, the volume. And just that listening calms the body down. Just like if I were here sitting in this chair in some recent trauma that I really wanted to share, and all of you ignored me, kept talking amongst yourselves, wow, I would feel even less safe. I might feel even more traumatized, even more triggered. But if the opposite happens, and all of you said in the chat and, through your screens, like, oh no, Dave, like we're here, we're just listening. What did you experience? We want to understand. And now picture how imaginary traumatized Dave feels, right? I'm sighing. I'm sitting back in my chair. I haven't even told my tale yet, and I already feel better about it. This is the volume teaching, right? The easiest way to lower our own volume is not through some force, not through some magic trick. It's just by listening. The body is raising the volume because it wants to be heard, because it needs to be heard.